Hey everyone. This is Damien, aka Sleepy Reader. This is my first official video on my new book channel. So I thought I would do the traditional newbie Booktube tag. It's got 11 questions. I've written them down or typed them out on a piece of paper, and I am going to do my best. Some of them feel like job interview questions. Why did you start this channel is the first question. Probably like everyone else, because I watched people talking about books on YouTube and I wanted to do the same. I put it off for a long time, and I think seeing other guys more in my age range, at least a few of them, made it a little easier for me to make this jump. And we'll just see what happens. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? And that feels like a job interview question to me. I really don't know. Presumably my personality, whatever that is. If you like sloppily made improvised videos without a lot of forethought, then this might be the place for you. That's what I bring to YouTube. What are you most excited about? What are you most excited for about this new channel? Well, chatting with other people. So I'm hoping that people do find these videos, people who have opinions about books and interests that at least intersect mine at times. It's all about conversation for me. So I will try to make these videos as conversational as I can. A nice thing about Booktube or any kind of community on YouTube is each person gets their own chance to have their say on their channel, and then other people can react to it. And I really like that. Why do you love reading? So probably nothing original here. I love language. I love words. I love stories. I love getting to live a lot of different lives. I think the technology that we humans came up with language and then writing and print and mass production of such is a way to pass down knowledge and experience and intensify it, condense it, so that you can take in more experience than you would in just, the primitive pre-language times. Imagine that, where you can't even communicate with other people what you have done or what they have done, or pre-written language times, where there was very little from the past, just what was passed down orally. So it just seems, the more I think about it, just the more great in multiple ways is the written language, because of how much it can give us and how much experience and knowledge that we can gain from it. What book or series got you into reading? Memory fades over time, but I'm pretty sure that it was a series of books. I have to look up the name of the author, but it started with Viking Dawn, then there was a second book, then the last book was Viking Sunset. So I'm going to look that up. That's actually going to play into the next video I plan to make. But then the other books I remember very early on that got me excited about reading as a kid were called step-up books. They were nonfiction books. Step up to reading, I think, maybe something like that. So they were very simple nonfiction books. I remember reading one about an inventor, maybe Edison, I'm not sure. And I remember reading one about Abraham Lincoln and one about Benjamin Franklin. And I remember those got me very excited. I thought, now I'm reading. Those were some of the first books I ever got out of the library. Now I'm going to the library and I'm learning things, and that was really exciting. But the other one, the Viking Dawn, Viking Sunset stuff, that was, exciting macho stories with lots of fighting in them can happen in books too. So that was exciting to me as a kid. Now, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? How do they make time to make their booktube videos? Does being on Booktube and making videos change how you read? Those would be the questions I would ask them. Question number 7. What challenges do you think starting a Booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? time, kind of laziness, entropy. I guess one thing that can be dangerous is worrying too much about how good your videos are. I think I want to stick to kind of guerrilla tactics and just flip on the camera and talk a bit and then turn it off. So hopefully I can stick to that. I do have another channel, and I know sometimes there I get tempted to edit a lot, and that often stops me from making videos for a while. When did you start reading? So that ties in, of course, to those books. So my memory of discovering those Viking books, I was 9, and my family was spending the summer in Paris, which sounds glamorous, but when you're 9 years old and your parents are dragging you to cathedrals, Paris kind of sucks. But there was this English language library we went to, and or maybe we bought British editions of books because we were in Paris. I think at bookstores, and there were ones with puffins on them, and I love that. And so I think that's one memory of starting reading. But that whole Step Up book thing, I think that might have been a little younger than that, or maybe that might have been right around the same time. I'm just not sure. So I probably became a reader at age 9. So a little late for some people, but I think I may have been a bit dyslexic too. And it took me a while to get over that. Okay, on to the next question. Where do you read? So that's question number 9. Wow, I've gotten through them. Oh, almost gotten through them. This is one of my favorite chairs to read in. It's very comfortable. I got it at IKEA. Getting yellow color might have been a mistake because now my daughter has started sitting in it too, and I'm starting to see some stains. But anyway, I like reading in this chair. It has a nice, whatchamacallit, thing to put your feet up on. I actually am a big fan of reading in cafes, which doesn't make sense because cafes are a little distracting. But I think one of the good things about them maybe is when I find a cafe with comfortable seats or a couch to read in and settle in, I'm not worrying about anything else I ought to be doing than just hanging out at the cafe and reading. But sometimes I might be overhearing other people's conversations and stuff. But still, I like that setting for reading. I read in bed a bit. I really like when I take a long airplane ride to just spend the entire time reading. That's really pleasurable. So I like to read outside in our backyard in the summer. Right now it's gray and rainy, very rainy, but because I live in the Pacific Northwest. So, but when summer comes around again, I'll be doing a lot of my reading out in the backyard and a little in the front yard. What kind of books do you like to read? So, novels and maybe even more short fiction. I like literary fiction of certain literary fiction. I like science fiction. I like horror to a lesser degree, mysteries to a lesser degree. Some fantasy, more the fantasy that was popular when I was a kid. Like with science fiction, I like as much as I can to keep trying new science fiction, but I'm probably pretty happy going back and reading the old fantasy, like Michael Moorcock and Robert E. Howard. Maybe because fantasy novels have gotten so fat. But I love short stories, so short story collections often number amongst my favorite books. Then I also love reading historical biography. I like biographies in general, but about famous scientists, famous artists, famous leaders in historical times. Other bits of history interest me too, but I like it best in the biographical format, I think. What else do I like to read? I love to read popular science books, but I mostly read those out loud with my daughter these days because I have a 15-year-old daughter. We're still very close. Maybe thanks to COVID, we stayed very close. And we read out loud together from science magazines and popular science books. So that I really enjoy a lot too. The final question number 11, apparently is kind of optional. It's what does your book collection look like? My books are all in storage right now. I'm renting a self-storage spot, which is filled with books and comic books, and I still have more here in the basement that I need to move. Bags and boxes full of paperbacks and such. Let's see, what have we got here? A lot of science fiction. And in theory, we're going to fix up this room in the basement, and hopefully there'll be a lot of bookshelves in here for me to put my books in. I also have a little office about a mile away from here, and I'm going to move some of my books in there at least for a year or two. We've been pretty slow to agree, me and my wife, on what we're really doing. We've also been moving around a lot of rooms. We have a guest room that we were making a TV room. Anyway, it gets complicated. So my books are in storage. That's where does my what does your book collection look like? My book collection looks like a bunch of books in a basement or in a storage facility. Here's some nice shelves. Okay, so I will be back with more videos. Thank you if you watched this entire newbie tag. And let me know if you have a Booktube channel that I might not know about in the comments. Thank you.